Well, let's explore the implications of Gigaba's exit for both him and the Ramaphosa administration. Joining us now, Professor Ivor Sarakinsky from the Wits School of Governance. Prof, good morning. Thanks for your time this morning. And everything you've heard there, and as we know, as we've been hearing since yesterday, Malusi Gigaba saying it's not an admission of guilt. Yes, I've resigned. He's going to go to court to review the findings of the Public Protector's report. Does it seem to you then that he was pushed? That he really was left no choice?
He was left no choice. The lineup of forces was such that it was clear he had to resign to save face. And what he's trying to do now is spin it in a way that he comes across as the hero of his own crisis.
Well, just looking at the headlines this morning, cabinet shake-up likely as Gigaba quits. Where to now for Gigaba? He's not yet off the hook as well. And we're looking at things like the DA laying charges of perjury against him, but also looking at the likes of Godi, who's saying that he is the fall guy. So how do you see all of this playing out for him? Because it seems like he might think he has something to fight about.
He's part of a faction in the ANC. And from the faction's perspective, it's a strategic retreat in order to consolidate a base in the NEC, because he's still a member of the NEC. It's an attempt to consolidate power at branch level, because that's where the power in the ANC lies, if you can build up that constituency. And it's to find an opportunity to fight this battle after the election. And the dynamics there are very fluid. And if there are significant changes in the ANC post-election, he might be part of a faction that becomes dominant again, and he might re-emerge. If the current power balance remains after the election, it's very unlikely that he will appear in cabinet. The problem is for Cyril Ramaphosa and those who are trying to clean up the ANC, is that you've got a very popular, powerful figure in the ANC who's now got a lot of time on his hands to plot and scheme.
Well, just on that point, is Malusi Gigaba, is he somebody who is that powerful? Does he have enough to actually sway, sort of voters one way or the other if this were to affect the ANC's election chances next year?
It's not so much about the voters. It's about internal ANC dynamics. I'm not sure it's a generational thing. It's more a factional thing, and some of the factions are fluid. But he is a powerful figure inside that factional fight, and he will be able to influence in various ways as a member of parliament, as a member of the NEC, as a member of a branch, and in that way he can make himself unignorable to the leadership of the ANC in the future.
And I'd like to go back to what SCOPA chairperson Godi is saying, that Gigaba is being used as the fall guy by the ANC, that the ANC has to account for the role it played in that whole Fireblade saga. Just your thoughts on that, because he's not the first person to say that.
Yes. So there's a very mysterious letter from Luthuli House giving permission for Fireblade.
Yes, we've seen that one, yeah.
And that is incredibly strange. A decision of state being made by a political party that's got no business doing that is very strange. But that doesn't exonerate him for him signing the forms. So there may have been lobbying within the ANC, and pressure may have been put on him. And if he was against it, he should have stood his ground and not complied. And this is the problem in politics. If you are too useful to powerful figures inside your party, and you agree with everything they do, you will end up catching the flack. Yeah. And that's what's happened here with the Guptas and the passports. There are a whole range of things that are coming out now. And is that a sign of good leadership? I don't think so. It's a question of, this is the line, I'm not going to cross it. And he has pursued these agendas of his associates because of his ambition, because of his belief that he's a future ANC leader, a future national president, and he's tried to ingratiate himself with the power players. And the hubris of that has come back to haunt him, and he's out on a limb now.
And very, very quickly, Prof, before I let you go, who's next? Because we know the president had a deadline. Batabile Dlamini, everyone expects that to be the next name we hear over the next couple of hours.
So is this a sign of the cleanup? I'm not convinced, because if there's a cleanup, then the president changes the cabinet through a reshuffle, and the president takes full responsibility for cleaning up. What's going on here is a war of attrition in terms of trying to force the bad guys to leave cabinet of their own volition. And that's a sign of weakness, I think, because it means that the president doesn't have full support in the NEC. The top six might agree, but the NEC is where the power is, and that's probably 50-50 at the moment.
So Malusi Gigaba, still a force to be reckoned with, it seems. Thanks very much, Professor Ivor Sarakinsky from the Wits School of Governance.